Good morning, good day, and good evening. I'm as always your host, Rudy Robertson, and today we are doing an episode that should have been recorded a little bit ago, but we're here now, so that's all that matters. We have Mirko Brombin back on the show, who you're going to know from projects like VanillaOS, like Bottles, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today we're here to talk about I'm not really sure what the project is, and that's sort of what we're going to get into today. The new desktop you announced, Singularity. So, how about you introduce yourself and we'll go from there?
Okay, good afternoon for me. I'm Mirko Brombin. I'm a designer and a developer. That's the first time I call me a developer. Yeah. Yeah, as you said, I'm the developer of Bottled, VanillaOS, Atoms, and many other projects because I like to make my life very, very complex. And yeah, I'm working on another project that is called Singularity for the moment.
You make your life
Yeah.
complicated to make others less complicated.
Yeah, that's actually how can I explain it.
So, it was about a month ago now that you announced this project. How long before then was it actually a work in progress? Because clearly you had something when you showed it off.
Well, that's because I'm working on it since like 1 year now, maybe
Okay.
some more time. And that's funny because it was started as an Easter egg I made in the VanillaOS Twitter some time ago. And it was really, really fake. It was a web page that I showed on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it. It was funny. But then I started experimenting with it, saying, well, maybe I can do it because that's what's happened in my mind every time I try something just for making some Easter egg. Well, nothing. It's real now. So.
So, yeah, I guess, like, for anyone who may be unaware of what it is, what are you building it with? And I guess, what are you trying to do with it? I guess we'll start with the easier one of what are you actually building it with? Because I think that's going to lead into some interesting discussion as well.
Wait, say me the question other time.
Sorry. What
I didn't listen.
What are you building the environment with?
Oh, with Vala,
Mm-hmm.
which is like C but for dummies like me.
Mm-hmm.
It's Wayland only, so everything is on top of the LabWC compositor. Everything is Wayland only. I don't think to support SORG and no. And so many libraries that other developers should know, like libps, for example, which is plugin system, plugin library used in Vala. Like I think Elementary is using it for Pantheon Dex. I'm not sure. GTK, which I got a lot of messages for using GTK. GTK4, and not the Libadwaita, because I know many will open this video just to learn to say that. So GTK4, oh no, it's Libadwaita. No, it's not. It's pretty much the full stack I'm using. I'm not using anything else.
I was told to pass a message along to you when I mentioned that I was going to be talking to you. The developer of Budgie is very confused why you decided to go with Vala. He has very negative experiences using Vala.
Well, let's say I'm not really comfortable with Vala too. I'm pretty much comfortable with Go and sometimes with Python. I'm trying to abandon Python for everything because I just don't like it.
Right.
The problem with Go is that we don't have stable bindings for GTK. and that's very complex for me because I really love Go. But I also remember some of C Sharp, which is very similar to Vala, and also it's giving me a lot of performance. I also have a lot of work already done because libraries are already ported, because Vala really works very well with GTK. So just go with what working. And the other idea was to use JavaScript, but I'm not going to do the same thing Gnome did. So I really know.
So I think the first big question there is, why are you using GTK?
Because I like it actually. Okay. Well, not that I like it how one person could say, yeah, I love chocolate. No, I'm pretty used to it.
It's comfortable.
Okay.
You're used to working with the
Yes,
APIs.
I tried other things. I tried to work with libcosmic, which is based on ice, if I don't remember, if I remember correctly.
This was over
I
in
tried,
Bottles Next, wasn't it?
yes, exactly. I'm working with Qt, other stuff that are web-based, but I don't know, JDK is something that I know, and the project is very complex. It's very large, and I think it's better to use something that I'm already used to. So that's really the only reason for doing it in GTK4 for me.
It's not the main topic for today, but what is happening with Bottles Next? I've heard some people are kind of curious about that.
It's going very. We have a lot of work done, actually. We also committed a lot of stuff. We received good funding from the NLNet project, but we are going very, how can I say, slowly to make sure everything is correct because I'm the only active developer in Bottles. I'm still working on it, developing it, maintaining it, everything. It's complex. And I'm still having the same issues I had a long time ago with that code base. And I want to make it, I want to make bottlenecks perfect. I don't want to release it and then the other day, the next day, say, oh yeah, we have a problem in the architecture. No, no again, not again. Bottles had a lot of problem, but it's working. Actually, it's working very well. We just released a new feature, which is Eagle, which is
I did hear
for
about
me.
that. Yes.
It's actually it's something crazy, and it's working. So trying to rush something just to release it because it's something new, because people want to see it, is nah,
Right.
doesn't work for me.
What toolkit is Bottles Next using? Because I know there was some discussions about a bunch of different toolkits.
Let's say it's using all toolkits,
Okay.
but nothing because we are developing bottlenecks as a particular code base. We have a server, we have a bridge, we have a client, a CLI, and the first client is a CLI, so it's made in Rust simply. And we are still deciding which toolkit to use for the front end. I want to use libcosmic, to be honest. I want that. But there are other persons inside the team, and not everyone are really happy with it. Actually, just one person, but I have to correctly listen to everyone. And since the client, the front end, is not the priority right now, I'm not pushing for the discussion. What I can say is that I made a mockup on Figma, and that is the face. I don't know if it's GTK or IceQT or whatever, but that is exactly the face we will use to release bottlenecks. So that will never change.
Since you did mention Rust in there, did you consider doing GTK Rust for Singularity?
No. because I made a lot of projects in Rust. I think I didn't publish any. I published anything on them because I'm still experimenting with it. With bottlenecks, I have a team of 2 members actually that are working with me that really know Rust really well, and that's helpful because I don't know Rust the way they know. I prefer Go, as I say. It's a very good language. You can do anything with Rust. It's crazy that there is nothing you can do in Rust, but it's complex for me. So, as I said, the Singularity desktop is very much complex, even complex than bottlenecks, and I don't feel very comfortable to use HDK or Rust.
Understandable. So the next big question then is, if you're doing GTK, why are you not doing Libadwaita?
And I was waiting for that question. No, why I'm not using Libadwaita, right? Because I like Libadwaita. I like how it feel. Okay, but someone will kill me for that. I don't like the community around it. I know that I'm one member of the GNOME Foundation. I'm doing anything. I'm not working for GNOME. I'm not working on any GNOME project, to be honest. I just help her for some events. But I don't like the community behind it. I know that a lot of person, as well as, I don't know why I'm trying to speak in Spanish now. I don't know what's happening with my life. I got married.
Ah, nice. I did see that. Congratulations.
Thank you. No, I still a bit crazy for that. I know that a lot of person don't see it. Person that simply see, oh, that's a Libadwaita application. I like it, or simply I don't like it. Okay, that's fine. But there are a lot of toxicity, let's say, okay, if you make an application in Libadwaita, not in GTK, let's say Libadwaita, it's like another thing for some person, they will reach you and say, no, you don't have to do it that way, you have to do it this way. No, man, that's my application. I literally do whatever I want, because when I did it in bottles, we did a very long work to make bottle, correct Libadwaita application. We propose it for the GNOME circle. They said us, yes, just change this. Okay, we made everything. And after that, they told us, no, well, we are not going to accept that application. Oh, so why? Just give me. So I started using Libadwaita again for other application, for VanillaOS, for example, because we are using GNOME. We are not changing it for any other desktop environment. And all the application must look like GNOME. So it's correct. We are going to use Libadwaita and respect it. For other application, like I have still Atoms, which is similar to Bottle, but for CH root, I can say. Now it supports DistroBox, I think. I don't remember. I have much projects.
Easily manage extra roots and containers with atoms. Did this exist the last time you were on? Maybe it did.
It still exists because it's still working.
Right. I mean, the last time that you did an episode here, did this project exist yet?
Yeah. It's pretty much, I think it's around since 4 years now. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe I just didn't know about it then.
Something like that.
Or maybe I'm forgetting. Could be that as well.
So I'm still using Libadwaita, and I respect Libadwaita guidelines and everything the community say when it comes to be an application for GNOME. Right. But when I make an application, just because I want to make an application, I need it, I want to release it to other person that is not just for GNOME users. I want to be free to do whatever I want without person that reach me, no, why you did it? I know it's looking terrible because you don't have to do it. I want to do whatever I want. I do it for free, first of all. So just give me some pace. And also, there is a second reason, which is the real, how can I say, the most important point, which is GNOME OS. Actually, I say that I want to write an article, and I actually tried to write it a lot of time, but I don't find the right word, so I just say it how it comes. I don't doesn't really isn't really important for me. When I see that GNOME OS is not going to just be an experimental OS just to show how GNOME is working, just to experiment with it, but they want to actually make a production-ready system using GNOME, well, that is a problem, because GNOME is used by a lot of Linux distributions, and I know you can still use it in VanillaOS, in Fedora, and whatever, but people will just say it, well, Ubuntu is not the real distro that must be used to use GNOME. It's not the flagship one. It's like for a long time, I don't know why people say that Fedora is the flagship GNOME OS, the flagship GNOME distro.
I think it's because Fedora is a clean install, whereas Ubuntu, they install a bunch of plugins and tend to also lag a bit behind.
It's like that, but I think it's also because Fedora team is very much, how can I say, attached to the GNOME team. So when I come to make a GNOME OS, not just for experimental, but for production, it makes me feel, well, we as Ubuntu VanillaOS, which is very, very young, but all our distributions spent a lot of time to improve GNOME, to spread the voice of GNOME, let's say, and now you're making a whole new distribution just for GNOME. It's not really like KDE, because KDE is more like for, take my words as they are, okay? Like for nerds, okay? Advanced user, they don't expect to have a distribution just for KDE. And that distro actually exists. Because they like KDE Neon, I think.
Well, they have a newer project, KDE Linux, and that's in many ways trying to be like what GNOME OS is.
Exactly, but it's different because GNOME has a different community, a different approach for me. And the fact that they are going for their distribution, it's complex. Also because I don't know why, maybe it's a feeling for me, by me, but I see the GNOME community a bit like extreme. I don't know. How can I say it without showing people with, I know I can kill you. It's like you have to do everything the exact way GNOME wants, which is not GNOME, it's the GNOME community wants, or you are just stupid, or I don't know how can I say it. So that's the reason why I'm not using Libadwaita. I'm not. I don't accept, to be honest, to see an OS for GNOME. I don't accept to see all the restriction that Libadwaita is porting to the Linux ecosystem, because also the thing that you have this application must exactly look like this in every platform. I can accept it because I said it with bottles. I want bottle that looks exactly like that, but not because I want to make GNOME the only platform out there. I don't want to say, I just want that every application looks like that. No, I want that my application looks that way. Because I opted for it. But if another developer said, no, well, it's fine for me, you can take my application. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. GNOME must work on GTK, must work on Libadwaita, without saying anything to developers. I hope that's clear.
For anyone, like, before you direct any angry emails at him, it should be very clear English is not his first language, so if he tripped on any words there, yeah. I I guess putting in other words, you like the toolkit as a way to build consistent applications, but you don't like feeling like the GNOME HIG is something that is forced upon you. You want your application to look the way that you designed it. You don't necessarily care that it's a GNOME perfectly styled application.
That's the reason.
Okay. Fair enough.
You talk all my 50 minutes rant and just say, well, 2 words. That's everything. I must improve my talking skills.
No. I recommend that you go back and listen to the last episode you're on, because you are a lot clearer this time. You did say that you've practiced your English a lot, and it's definitely very obvious you have.
Yeah, I'm also practicing Spanish. You see, if you want, we can do Spanish.
I can't do Spanish.
Let's keep in English, okay?
Maybe next time. We'll work that out next time.
Yeah.
So, what are you actually trying to do with Singularity? Is this supposed to become a full desktop environment that you're going to release out and maintain long term? Is it just something you're experimenting with? What are you trying to do with the project?
It's actually both things, because I always experiment with everything I do. That's why I love open source. I make projects like just to experiment with them, but also to fix something. Okay, I like to take something that people use but don't like the way they are using it, and make it better. Okay, well, I hope to make it better, right? And to make it better. So I am experimenting because I always wanted to make a desktop environment, just because, yeah, I like to make things. But I also want to maintain it. I think I always maintained all my projects. There was a problem with bottles, because for some months it was just broken. Someone released a version that was broken and was out there for, I don't know, many months. But I wasn't aware, because I was out, I was in Venezuela, I was preparing for my marriage, for wedding. It was complex, so I didn't have time to work on anything. And some projects still worked, because VanillaOS has a very powerful team that still keep it up. But bottles, no, sadly. So that was the only case. But if someone check my GitHub, I also maintain all my projects in a way or another. And that's the case for Singularity Desktop. I'm trying not just to make a new desktop, I'm trying to make a new distribution that will live in 2 ways. The first way is the way I like to experiment, so people can try all my experiments. I have some crazy ideas, maybe talk with later for that. And the other branch, which is the stable one, where people can use Singularity OS, which is based on VanillaOS, with the Singularity desktop, all that things. I have a lot of things for Singularity OS. So yeah, I'm going to maintain it, and it will always follow the 2 branches way. So one for experiments, one for stability, for people that really, I want to use it for production. I make it, I'm writing in it, developing it on a way that can be packaged simply. So we can use it on Fedora, on Pop OS, I don't think, but Pop OS, Ubuntu, and maybe VanillaOS as well, but Singularity is a fork of VanillaOS, so it doesn't really make sense.
I'm sure as soon as the code's out there, someone will make an AUR package for it.
Probably. No, I can. It's actually working a container. You can also start it inside a distro box, and it's working inside a Wayland window, just because you want to see how it works, and it's working. I'm developing it inside a distro box, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. yeah.
That's okay. That's interesting. I've not heard anyone working on a desktop like that. Obviously, you have people doing things in a virtual machine. I know some developers who will dog food the system as they're developing it, and that obviously goes very well for them and never breaks at all. What made you want to do it in a container inside of DistroBox?
Because I just have one laptop now.
Mhm.
And I want to work it in my spare time because I'm working on it as a hobby for the moment, even if I have all this vision and stuff like that. But in the same time, I also have to still working on my office work. On my company, I still have to work on bottles, and I don't want to say, let's create a new session using Singularity, and I don't know, make something that blow up my entire PC. Okay, it's impossible because it's VanillaOS, okay, but I'm pretty used to blow up my PC to make it kaboom. So maybe not this time.
Hopefully not this time.
Hopefully not this time.
Okay. So I guess we can talk about some of the stuff that you're working on with it. I'm very happy that you did something with the website and you included basically every tweet you made about the about the thing, so I don't have to go and find them. So that makes my life much easier. So, I guess what's a fun thing we have in here? Right, we can talk about that. You're working on some tiling stuff for it. That's cool. So, is that is that one of those things where you kind of wanted to just experiment with tiling? Had you used tiling in the past?
I am using tiling, but I didn't find a tiling that really fits my needs because I used paperworm, which
like Neri.
yeah, it works. Yeah, it works. But the best tiling I use, I think it's called Forge or like something like that for GNOME, because I always have two monitors, the one of the laptop and two others, because I have a lot of stuff that I'm working on at the same time, so I have to see a lot of stuff. And Forge is working, but at the same time is very very laggy. Maybe because it's a GNOME extension, okay, but it's very 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 laggy. And at the end, what I really need is a simple tiling. So just I want to place these windows here, the other windows here, and maybe group them. So I have, let's say, Telegram and WhatsApp, the two windows. I want to switch on a group. I think the better tiling out there is the one made by System 76, probably. But I don't know, it's still complex for me. I don't want to see a menu that I have to click and change things. I just want to snap something on away, on the right side, one on the left side, put them. Forge is very, very simple, but it's very, very laggy. I don't think I will make something like Forge for the moment. I just want to reach that first stable version of Singularity, maybe with just snappy windows. And I made Wayland integration for that is calling the LabWC API, which are not API. So I had to change how LabWC works. It's complex. I have a fork of it. But yeah, we will have tiling for the first version.
So you're not building a compositor for this, you're just using LabWC. You're just building the shell that integrates with it.
Exactly. I had to made some changes to LabWC, like for example, to get the Windows previews. I think I published a tweet the other day showing Windows previews. For that, I had to make a lot of changes actually. Make a new portal and stuff like that. But I have to say that LabWC looks very, very, very good writing. Good, what can I say? uh, as a good code base. It's very, very simple to edit it. And it's not even in a language that I love. So nice.
It's built on WL root, so it's a C project.
What? So I didn't. I wasn't listening. Sorry.
LabWC, it's built in C, correct?
Yes, C and well, let me check. I don't remember. It's
The GitHub says
no,
98% C.
yeah, no, my fork is not even C. It's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's only because I put some Python unit test to
Okay,
test something,
Okay,
not because I put Python inside a compositor. No.
I'm sure that would be very fast.
Yeah, I don't think so, but yeah.
So, I did see some other nice little things, like, because you are using LabWC, you kind of want to create some graphical tools to customize it. I did see that you made some configuration to enable and disable the window decorations, for example.
Yes, I want to make a sort of medium point from GNOME and KDE. I don't want to give you configuration for everything. I will give you a lot. I will give the user a lot of configuration, but the very advanced one can be done in dconf via dconf. I want to allow you to show window decoration, to put the Docker on the bottom, on the left, or where you want to. There is also an option that is called fusion mode that take the top bar, the dock, and put them together to create just a taskbar. I want to give a lot of personalization, but customization, but without making like KDE that you can open set. You open KDE setting and say, oh, okay, so where can I start? Where is what I'm looking for? No, just what I saw. Where is I will show. I will provide a easy setting for something that people will, that a large set of people, this one, are looking for. But for advanced user, they will just open the conf editor and change whatever they want. Or maybe because it's GTK, you can just open the CSS file and write the way you want. Write it the way you want. You want shadow, just put shadow, change a color. That one.
Have you had a chance to play with the Cosmic Desktop? Because it kind of sounds like that's what you're going for, where you're exposing the settings that most people care about, but not every little possible tweak.
I used the Cosmic Desktop, and actually, right now in the GitHub repository, Cosmic is the desktop used by SingularityOS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the problem is that I don't know why, but I don't feel really comfortable with it out of the box. I don't like icons. I don't like the way it looks like. I don't know why. I just don't feel really comfortable with it, and I would to collaborate, okay, to contribute, but it's also Rust. No, no. I'm working with bottlenecks. It's fine for it. Rust is fine on that side. Also, there is other. Let's just say that Cosmic was born for Pop OS, so it's GNOME OS. It's the same. They are creating a community around it. Which, okay, someone could say, okay, but Singularity OS and Singularity Desktop, we are making the same. No, because since day zero, I will never say that this is the distribution for Singularity Desktop. Singularity Desktop is a thing made by the developer Singularity, which I am, and you can use it whatever you want. I will still provide support for you. I will never accept a community that try to interact in a toxic way, saying you, no, you must use Singularity OS because Singularity Desktop is for Singularity OS. No, if I read that, I will reach you on Reddit. I will say, what the hell are you writing here? That's not what I try to do. I'm not GNOME, please. Oh, go.
I didn't say it. It's not me.
I never say it. I never say it.
Since we were talking about decorations, I also saw you put a thing out about client-side and server-side decorations. So this is something that Cosmic sort of ran into recently as well. Because you have GNOME that doesn't implement the what's the Wayland protocol called for server-side decorations? You know the one I'm talking about. I'm forgetting the name.
I don't remember
XCD decorations. That's the one.
Okay.
So because they don't implement that, basically everyone provides fallback client-side decorations, but they don't necessarily use those client-side decorations, right? A lot of applications like Firefox, for example, it's built around having those. But a lot of random, a terminal, for example, there's no reason to use those if it's not actually trying to make use of the client-side decorations in a useful way. They kind of just have it there so it has a bar on GNOME. So
Wait, what was
my point there was I like that you're providing the option to say, I want to use those client-side decorations or I want to use the server-side decorations that come from Singularity. I can see the gears turning in your head trying to work out what I was saying. No, my overall point was I like that you provide the option to disable client-side decorations.
Got it.
Okay.
I was laughing internally because I said, wait, he wasn't doing
Sorry, I went on a little bit too long there. That sometimes happens.
No, I did it because people need it. People asked it, asked for it. Since I need users, I say, well, just implement what users say.
No, I think that's
it's a point.
No, it's a good way to do it. If you don't really have a clear direction what you want to do with it, you might as well, again, as you said, this is an experiment, right? You're experimenting with things, so if you're not really sure, why not experiment with it?
Exactly.
Yeah. I also saw there the stuff about global menus.
Yeah.
My understanding is that's a little complicated. The toolkits don't really properly support them nowadays.
Exactly. It's very, very complex because when I started making it, I did try to search online which library to use, how does GTK works, how Qt works, how Libadwaita works, because Libadwaita application is very, very different. And they said, but just trying to make it work. But currently, it's not working very well. I have some application that does display correctly the menu, file, edit, view. I have a lot of Libadwaita application that doesn't show it. But I am working on a sort of fallback. So when when I can't show the global menu, hit button simply. So you can click a file, actually. You can click file and see the quit. I'm also see if I can use it, the desktop entry actions and show them as a fallback. You have desktop entry action where when you, for example, in GNOME, you do right click and see like new private window and stuff like that. and implement them directly on the global menu. So it's like a fake but working global menu for the moment for a lot of application. Maybe people will start using providing that menu again. I don't know. If you're using a lib Singularity application, actually you does expose that menu.
Okay. Ooh. My Discord keeps disconnecting. That's weird. I'd never heard you stop talking, but I keep hearing the disconnect sound, so I don't know what that's about.
I don't know. I'm still. I see you lagging actually.
Yeah, no, I see you lagging on my side. I don't.
Cool.
Apologies to anyone who's hearing the Discord sound constantly right now. I cannot do anything about that. I'm on Do Not Disturb, so it shouldn't be making those sounds. But notifications, can we turn those off anyway? No. Okay. I'll have a look at it afterwards. That's fine. Apologies for the Discord noises. Anyway.
Because it's an Electron application.
Yeah, we love Electron. It's great. My favorite. So you mentioned earlier that people can modify the GTK CSS. So that's something that you sort of expect people to do. Are you thinking of providing some convenient theming mechanism that allows people to mess with that? Or is it sort of, you're not going to do anything that gets in the way of it?
I want to provide. I'm developing Teams APIs, so variable that you can use in CSS to create teams properly. I don't want to restrict people to just just change those variables. No, I want you to be free to make whatever you want, whatever you like, because I'd like to see a lot of people experimenting and say, oh, that's my recipe for Singularity desktop. I made it this way with pink, neon, and green buttons. Please no, you're aware, like that.
I've seen what people do to KDE with the freedom they have. They will absolutely do that. I've seen what people do to Cinnamon. Yeah.
Release Singularity desktop, the first one that will make a pink and green theme. I will use it for 1 month.
Okay. Good luck with that. Have fun hating every second you use the desktop.
I will enjoy it.
So, customization is something that you're sort of providing a lot of here. This is something that we don't really have another example of a GTK4 environment that is customization heavy, because things like Cinnamon, they're still on GTK3, Budgie's now on Qt, so we don't really have a great example of what you can really do with a full desktop that allows you to theme it that's like GTK4 based anymore.
I was thinking the same, but wait, Pantheon isn't made in GTK4 right now.
I forgot about that one.
Well, it's really different because it's based on libgranit.
Yeah,
which
I was
is
going to say, yeah.
Maybe because of that. But no, I think that there isn't. Or maybe Cinnamon is made in GTK4.
Cinnamon, I believe, is still GTK3.
Okay.
I might be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure it's GTK3.
No, I don't think we have a GTK4 desktop environment. That should be GNOME, but it's in GTK. It's not even using GTK in reality. I think it's JavaScript with a toolkit named maybe STK or whatever it's called. I don't know. Which is funny because it's GNOME. I expect it to be GNOME GTK, and it's not GTK. What?
Well, even so, like with GNOME at this point, the expectation is everything to be built around Libadwaita, so it's going to have that very specific style. I know there's interest in bringing in like accent colors, but that's kind of the extent of the theming that's really there. Whereas what you're doing is sort of that classic GNOME theming model of allowing full CSS, but then doing that on GTK4. Which I'm just curious what people are going to make with that. That's sort of my main thing there. With that with being on GTK4, what are people going to be able to do that they couldn't do on older versions of GTK, and providing that mechanism? I'm just curious to see how people are going to experiment with it. And I like that you're sort of providing that opportunity.
Well, let's say that GTK3 and GTK4 are very much, pretty much similar. Okay, the thing is that GTK4 has a better Wayland support. Okay, and well, a lot of improvements and stuff like that. And I think GTK4 now also in Python allow you to use a sync or something like that. I'm not sure, but well, I'm not using Python, so it's not even. It was just for talking. It's just more stable, I guess. Well, when I started making the desktop environment, I didn't think, well, let's use GTK3 or 4. No, well, GTK4 was the master reset, so I use GTK3. But I am developing it on a way that if tomorrow GTK5 will be a different thing that happened to me in Bottles. When Bottles was a GTK3 application, when GTK4 comes out, I had to do a lot of work with the team.
Wait, it's been around that long? I didn't even realize Bottles had been around that long.
2017.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty old. I'm 32 now. Okay. So I had that terrible experience, and I said, okay, this time, okay, I'm doing a desktop environment, but I want the GTK part to be really portable. I don't want to spend a lot of time to work on a GTK5 migration and stuff like that. And the thing that I'm not even using Libadwaita maybe is helpful. So that's the only thing.
I have heard some concerns about sort of the direction that GTK5 is going to go, because my understanding is with 4, a lot of the useful components that you might want to use outside of GNOME were moved into Libadwaita. So the GNOME theming was moved out of GTK, but so was a lot of the useful functionality.
I have to say that in case GTK file will be a mess, okay?
Right.
I don't have a big problem to just fork GTK4 and maintain it, to be honest, because I know that people could say, okay, but forking an entire toolkit, I'm literally doing a desktop environment, and I'm also working on a kernel, so it's not the worst thing I did at the kernel. So if something happened to with GTK5, no problem, I will maintain GTK4.
You said you were building in a way that is sort of, I guess, not really tied to the GTK version as much. What did you mean by that?
Wait, repeat the question.
Like the way you said it before, it made it sound like you weren't really the way you'd built it wasn't really tied to GTK, where you could possibly change to something else if you needed to. If I understood what you're saying correctly.
Yes, but no. Let me rephrase it.
Okay.
I'm not developing it the way that you can change the toolkit.
Sure.
But the way that I'm not depending on complex GTK widgets that require a complex migration in GTK5 or porting from Libadwaita. For example, a lot of widgets like the tabs and a lot of widgets that I'm using on the Singularity apps are inside a library I call it libsingularity. So I already remade everything that they could port to just Libadwaita. Because I know GNOME. I know their plans. But let me explain that as well, because okay, I'm making lib singularity and I said singularity apps, but I'm not trying to make another superset of application you can just use, you must use inside my desktop environment. The philosophy of the desktop is that you use the desktop, you customize it the way you want, and use it with application you love. That could be the GNOME apps, the KDE apps, or I don't know, maybe all Electron apps, whatever you want. So it's just like a rescue kit. If you install Singularity OS, you will see all those applications, but I'm not forcing anyone to use those applications.
So we shouldn't be expecting a web browser anytime soon.
Yeah, I made one based on WebKit.
Okay. Okay, maybe bad example then. How set in stone is the sort of design language for for Singularity? Like the way that it looks right now, is that the way it's always going to look, or are you still sort of working out that design?
It's very similar. It's almost like that, okay? But I'm still experimenting something. For example, the other day I published a new overview with workspace on another page because I experimented a lot of implementation. There was one with all the application list and the workspace on the top, but I didn't like it. I also don't like how in GNOME you have firstly you press the super key and see all the workspace. Then you have to, or do you click 2 times super faster, and then you can see the apps list, or you have to click the app list button, and so I don't know. I don't like it. But I like the way Mac works and Pantheon, I think, where you have 2 different buttons, one for the applications and one for workspaces. This way allow me to provide some more details, for example, showing the previews, showing the list of all workspaces, the ability to take a window and drop another workspace, that you can do it on GNOME as well, but on 2 steps. This way you just click the button you like. So it's more simple for me.
What are the long-term goals for the project?
In which scenarios? Wait. What do you mean?
I don't know. Like what? I'm not really sure where to take that. What are you thinking?
Okay, I want for the end of this year to have a public alpha or maybe beta. I don't know, because it's very stable, to be honest, but I don't want to say it's stable. For the handoff here on this year, and I want to release a first version of Singularity OS so that people can install it and test, because I want them to see, to follow different roads. So Singularity Desktop will have his release way, okay, release cycle, and the desktop will have his release cycle. Paths, not cycle. But yeah, for the end of year, I want to offer both. I want to release Singularity OS 0.1 and Desktop 0.1, so people can test them. And that's everything. That's what I want. An alpha.
Are you planning to release the code before then, or are you going to release it with the alpha?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So you're going to wait until the alpha's ready before you release the code?
I think this summer, around this summer, because I still have to clean up some things. There are some rude comments of me trying to implement Wayland, some Wayland components. So I don't want people to read them.
Mm-hmm. Understandable.
Normal developer day.
Yeah, for sure. You said you had an hour slot for this, so I'm not really sure how much longer you have, just so we don't go over time.
Around 15 minutes.
Okay. Let's see. I guess what else have we not really touched on then? Let's see. Workflows, window controls, tiling, decorations. I feel like we've touched on a lot of the main things here. Let's see. Now I actually have to like make sure we didn't miss anything. I'm not sure. So I guess we did sort of mention this before, but why are you going only Wayland? Why not consider doing X11?
Because we are in 2026 and Wayland is pretty much the only solution out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know that some people can't use it. I imagine, to be honest, because I can use it. But making a desktop environment based on something that is kind of deprecated, let's say, I don't like it because I have to maintain it. So I don't like to take my time and say, oh yeah.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense there. And it's, again, if you are going to stay with GTK, it's sort of unclear when there's going to come a point where GTK does decide to drop X11. Presumably that will happen with GTK 5, but we're not really fully clear on the timeline. And even if you were to move to something else, it's unclear when other toolkits are going to drop X11 as well. So unless you wanted to, sit back and maintain an older version, you're just not really going to have much of a choice. Qute's probably going to maintain it unless there's if there's a customer paying for it, Qt will probably maintain it. But as for anything else, the time's kind of running out.
Yeah. It's not a good time for Xorg, for X11.
Mm-hmm.
So maintaining it in 2026 or 2027, it's not really comfortable for people that want to maintain a project right now.
Mm-hmm. I think one last thing to touch on, we might have kind of mentioned it before. What happens with VanillaOS and GNOME? Is Singularity just going to be its own thing? Are you going to offer Singularity on VanillaOS?
They are two different things because the VanillaOS developer team is not involved in Singularity OS development, and they are two really different things because Singularity OS is based on top of VanillaOS, but will not use AB root, for example, will not use Apex, the container things, will not use a lot of stuff. Okay, let's say a lot of stuff that a lot of tools that you see inside VanillaOS are recreated for Singularity OS on a different way. For example, AB root, it's going to be replaced by XYZ. I don't know why I use those names because XYZ root, which basically is the same thing, but it's using a sort of images, and you are going to boot the system using those images like partitions. So you don't have root partitions at all. And for the desktop thing, Vanilla. Wait, that WhatsApp is doing something. Okay. What else was okay? Vanilla will always use GNOME because people choose VanillaOS because of GNOME, maybe a lot of them, and also because the developers of VanillaOS like GNOME. So I can't just say, let's use Singularity Desktop.
Sure.
No, I can't force the person to do whatever I want, and I'm not looking for that.
Well, I guess it does make a lot of sense to have your own thing with Singularity OS then, where you can be like, I want to make whatever changes I want to make. This is my thing. No one else, especially early on, no one is relying on it. So you can make whatever changes you want.
Exactly. And that's why I am the only developer for Singularity OS. And that's also the reason why I will never have a Singularity OS team. I want to keep that project with me as the only developer for forever. I will enjoy. I will accept contributors and contributions from people, but I'm not going to accept people on the team of Singularity OS. Probably on the Singularity desktop, but not for Singularity OS, because I don't want to force people, but I also don't want to be forced to do something the way I don't like.
Okay, yeah, I was just gonna ask you if the same applied to the desktop, but you beat me to it.
Yes.
So, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on? Otherwise, we can start to wrap up.
I think we're talking about everything. Yeah. No, I don't have anything more.
Okay.
Follow me on Twitter.
Yes, dude. I'll leave all your links down below. Where on that note, where can people find the things you're involved in?
Mastodon, Twitter, my blog.
Okay. The name that you use for these places so people can find them.
Don't remember. Wait a second.
Okay.
No, I think it's Brombin Mirko. Yes, it's Brombin Mirko.
Okay.
Actually, my surname plus my name.
I will leave all of the links down below. Bottles, if you search Bottles Linux, you will find it. VanillaOS, you search that and you will find it. Yeah. It was a pleasure to have you back on. I'll do my outro and then we'll sign off. Okay. So my main channel.
It was a
pleasure. Pleasure to have you on. Now I'm tripping on English. My main channel is Brody Robertson. I do Linux videos there 6-ish days a week. Sometimes I stream it as well. I've been lazy about streaming, but when Singularity is available, I will probably do a test stream because that sounds fun and I like to break things. I've got the gaming channel, Brody on Games. Right now I'm playing through Shenmue and also Devil May Cry 5. If you're watching the video version of this, you can find the audio version on basically every podcast platform at Tech Over Tea. There is an RSS feed as well. Search Tech Over Tea on your favorite apps and you will find it. And we're also on YouTube, Tech Over Tea for the video, and Spotify has video as well. I'll give you the final word. How do you want to sign us off?
Have a nice day. Peace and love, open source, and everything.
Yeah.